To start off, how did you get associated with DRailed?
I did a play called Lone Star with one of the writers and actor in DRailed, Everett Wallen. We were doing a play together, and he thought I'd be maybe good for Clyde. So he sent me the script, and then I went in and auditioned.
What was the audition process like? It was just standard audition, or was there anything special about it?
It so the first one was a self tape, so I taped it at home. Me and my roommate worked on it. It was actually, it was one of those auditions that was a little tricky because the scene I was reading for had a lot of action. It's a part where I'm starting the little train robbery thing, and then there's like a punch and a gunshot, you know what I mean? And you want to tread that line of like, am I doing too much miming, you know what I mean, but also have the intention there and have it be believable. I think I kind of found that balance of believing the physical things that I was or wasn't doing, but also bringing the intention and the life to it. So I taped for it first, and then I went in for the producer and director in person. So,
what can you tell me about working with Tonya and her character Gigi and Clyde have a little bit of a sensuosity going on? Can you explain how that all came out on screen?
Sure. Working with Tonya was great. She was very easy to work with, and we talked about the kind of chemistry we had to have, and that they've done this before, and that they enjoy doing this shit. It kind of like turns them on a little bit. So I mean that's something we talked about, and I think we were able to kind of layer in to when the action was going down. So,
what was the filming process like on that little museum that the first half of the film is shot in?
Yeah, the museum, that's a super cool little place. I actually never even heard of that place, but being around all those old trains was cool. The practicality of having a whole an entire crew inside that very tight train car with all of the equipment and the big ensemble cast and everybody was tricky, but we got it done.
As far as filming the action scenes in such confined quarters, how much of that did you have to rehearse, and did the process change over time? Was it originally supposed to be shot one way, and then because of the limitations, it had to be done another way, or was there anything like that?
Yeah, I think so. I think it did kind of evolve. Dale, the director, was very cool in kind of allowing me and a couple other castmates were kind of able to kind of go moment by moment and block out the action. You know what I mean? Dale was very receptive to allowing us to like find it. You know what I mean? So I think there was a general idea of how they wanted it to be, but certainly, in the moment and when we were shooting it, it really, it evolved and changed, and we kind of found exactly, the blocking of what it was going to be. But, it was definitely tough. It took hours and hours, but, it was fun to find, the best way to shoot this tight, very tightly spaced action sequence with a bunch of people and a bunch of things going on. But and we had a stunt coordinator there who helped too. So yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun finding that.
Getting into the character of Clyde, how do you get into the headspace of this sort of bank career criminal kind of sadist person? How do you get there mentally to be able to perform that in front of a camera?
Right. I mean, it's not a kind of thing where I need to like like get there and kind of imagine myself to be this as you say sadist, because I'm aware that I'm acting. I kind of just take it more of like, with that kind of character, there's so many different things that I can do, and so many different emotions that I can play with, and where he can relish in what he does, and he can kind of bring in a certain irony to it, and then at the drop of a dime also become very serious and kind of scary. So I just, the way that it's written, I kind of just allow myself to know exactly what's going on, but then kind of throw it away and just have fun with the idea of this guy who's a little bit of a sociopath, I guess, but it's just trying to rob the train and enjoys it. So
if you had a chance to revisit this character with Tonya, what kind of shenanigans do you think Gigi and Clyde would have gotten up to before this fateful event?
Before before we met our fateful ends, I don't know. I think they would have they would have gone on a little post robbery celebration, maybe gone to an island and partied with our newfound riches.
When you saw the finished product, what was your opinion of it, the finished film?
Yeah, it was great. It was really fun to to see, you see yourself up on, because we saw the premiere was in a theater, with a lot of people there, and I thought it was well done, and we put a lot of work into it in a short period of time and kind of on a budget. So I think it was impressive the way it turned out. So I'm happy with what I did too.
What else do you have coming up in the future?
I shot earlier this year. It's kind of like it's described as a desktop thriller by the creator. It's kind of like a video game in that you're playing it, but it's shot like a narrative movie. So it's going to be on like gaming channels like Twitch, I think it's called.
Yes.
It's also going to be on iOS, and Android, so you can play it on your phone. It's called Telling Lies. It's kind of a spiritual successor to Her Story, which was an award-winning game. The guy who created it his name is Sam Barlow. So I have a role in that, and it's it's cool because it's like a pretty big cast. Logan Marshall Green's in it, Alexandra Shipp, a few other people. So that should be coming out, I believe, maybe in the fall. So that's going to be exciting, and it's kind of a new medium for storytelling. It's like a game / movie. It's hard to describe, but yeah, that was cool. So that's what I got going.
What was it like filming something that's part interactive? How is that different from the standard movie making process?
Well, it was a lot quicker because we don't have to. We're not going in for coverage, you know what I mean, and shooting all these different angles, and because essentially the narrative is you're looking at like hidden camera footage and or like Skype calls. So the what you're watching, the narrative is actually the shots that you're watching is supposed to be from real life essentially. So everything was like one take, or it's like we shot this scene in the living room where where there's kind of this fight scene, and where it would have taken like 8 hours on a regular movie to punch in for all the coverage, we shot it in like 2 because the camera was just placed in the bookshelf. So it's a lot quicker, but working with all those guys too, working with Logan Marshall Green was awesome. And I think it's going to be a really fun game. So it's a really good story. So